Good morning, everybody, and happy Easter Sunday. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoying their Sundays and celebrating, hopefully at home with your families, and that you made a trip down to church to this morning. I am cleaning up here a little bit, but I wanted to talk about one thing that everybody needs, right? We all need, various tools, and we talk a lot about emergency scenarios and situations. Move this over. Do we need a radio? Do we need two? Do we need three? Do we need meals? Do we need fire starting kits? All that stuff. We cover that here, right? But we wanted to talk about a bunch of other things because, to be honest, like if we look at the news right now, you can see all of this stuff and take this out, all of these different stories that are going on. That's absolutely crazy right now. We all know about Iran and all the stuff going on there. um we all know about oh, this might be a deal, I guess. They found the other guy that came from the F-15. Thank you, thank the Lord, right? But how do we actually prepare for this, right? How do we prepare for these kind of eventualities where the world is at war. We have supply chain issues. We have gas prices are ridiculously expensive. Like how do we prep for all of this, right? And I'll give you a hint that it's not necessarily another fire starter or another radio or anything else like that. And that's why I wanted to talk about this today, right? Because today is a very special day, right? As we celebrate Easter today. And so basically I wanted to talk about something that is very important to us, and I think I need, I'm feel responsible to at least share with y'all, and if I hadn't already, and that is the one thing that you need is is your faith, especially in Jesus, right? I know that may not be that this may be a new topic for some of you guys watching this, but I wanted to share, like, hey, today Easter is Easter bunnies, all that stuff is cool, right? Egg hunts, kids do it, it's great, right? But what's most important today, right? And it's the reason that we have the holiday of Easter, right? And that is that Jesus um, was rose from the dead today, back 2000-ish years ago, right? On Friday we celebrate Good Friday. That is when we remember what Christ did for us and died for us. And then on Sunday we remember that he didn't stay dead, and that's what um, and that's very important to us in our faith. So I also wanted to, I wanted to talk about, and I'll read through these verses here real quick here. And let me move over there so it's easier. But this is from Matthew, the book of Matthew, and it's the last chapter in Matthew. This is probably one of the easier versions or chapters to read about this part of the story. But I'm just going to read about 14 verses of it here, and then we'll go through it, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. Let me zoom in, see read easier. All right. So now after the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to look at the tomb. And behold, a severe earthquake occurred, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled away the stone and sat upon it. And his appearance was like lightning, and his clothing as white as snow. And the guards shook from fear of him and became like dead men. They were afraid. They didn't know what was happening, right? They just were told to go guard the tomb. And so now, stone rolled away, guy standing there. They're obviously scared for many reasons. But I think they realize what's going on too. So continuing, and the angel said to the woman, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who has been crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, just as he said. Come see the place where he was lying, and go quickly and tell his disciples that he has risen from the dead, and behold, he is going ahead of you to Galilee. They will see him. Behold, I have told you." And after they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy, and ran to report to his disciples, and behold, Jesus, who was now alive again, met them and said, "Rejoice." They came and took hold of his feet and worshipped him. And then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go bring word to my brothers to leave for Galilee, and they will see me. So this is very important, right? If Christ didn't rise from the, from the tomb, then there is no faith, right? That basically what how this we think about this is that everyone does bad stuff, right? Sin. Everyone sins. You can't claim to be perfect. No one can. The only one that was Jesus, and he died so that way to cover all of the bad things that we have done, or all of the sin we have done. And so when he was killed on the cross on Good Friday, basically, where when we celebrate it, quote unquote, on last Friday, 2 days ago, he died on the cross, and they put him in a tomb. Is the short version, right? And that was day one, because we hear day three. Well, how does he rise on the third day? It's only been 2 days, right? Day one is when he died on the cross. Day two was Saturday, and day three, today is Sunday. You got to think about one thing too, is that he had all of these, even his close hold, like 12 disciples that followed him throughout the Bible, and you can read more. They must have been, I mean, you can hear stories and read stories about how they felt leading up to his death and how they felt after he was killed. And you can imagine how they must have felt on that day when he actually did die. And then on Saturday, even, they went to sleep, they woke up on Saturday and were like, well, yeah, so was this all a lie? I can't help but imagine that they felt that way, and they thought that, right? I mean, I think we're all human and would all agree that, like, hey, if we dedicated our lives to someone, to following someone for 3 years, right? And we spent every waking moment with them, and then to see them brutally murdered, and um and then he's still dead. I think that would be really hard for them. And that's probably why some of the disciples, when they saw him after he came back to life, didn't believe, right? They or it was hard for them to believe, because, like, well, they didn't really get it for a while. And so that's what we believe, is that Jesus 2000 years ago. And a side note is that I know a lot of people say, well, how do we prove that, right? There is more things written about Jesus and his life than a lot of other famous philosophers and things that are, before and after him. And yet we believe what those philosophers wrote. So how can we not believe about what Jesus did and said? And because we get more and more accounts of him throughout history. And the funny thing is that they all agree, and they all say the same thing, which doesn't ever happen, right? And I'll say the one final thing is that if they wanted to make a story up to make it believable, to, like, hoodwink the entire world forever, they wouldn't have Mary and Mary Magdalene go find Jesus, right? Because that's right here, verse 28, verse 1, right? Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to look at the tomb. Oh, shoot, sorry. That if they back in those days, it was different, right? They did not have the same view on equal rights, back then. And so, if wrong or right? I mean, they didn't trust a woman's what do I say, in court, And so if Jesus appeared to them first, then it doesn't seem like that would be what you would make up to make up a story. Anywho, but he did that, rose, and now that's what we celebrate here in Easter. And so, while the Easter bunny and the baskets and the eggs and the chocolate and the food is all super, super important, right? Because it's fun. It's a family time, right? I know a lot of us spend Easter with the family, and that's what we did this morning, and I'm going to do with them this afternoon. I just wanted to take a moment to share, like, that is what today is all about, is family, and in multiple ways that word, right? Spending time with your current family, but also your heavenly family, right? Jesus dying for us and coming back today. And so I'd highly encourage you to at least look into that. That is all I can do. I can't change anyone's mind or make anyone believe anything, right? But I can at least encourage you to look that stuff up, to research that, to read about him, read the Bible, right? Read some of the different books or some of his accounts, or even read extra, not extra biblical, but other stuff about Jesus, right? And there's a good book called The Case for Christ. I believe it's Lee Strobel who wrote it. That's a great book. I mean, he was a staunch atheist and came to know Christ. So I would just highly encourage you to look into those things, look into Jesus and the story of him and in the Bible and what he did for us. Because I know we as a family wholeheartedly believe that. And because we believe what Christ did in dying and coming back on the third day on Sunday, that because of that we are saved from our all of the bad things we've ever done and will do. And because of that, we know that we will go to heaven after we die. And so I that's all I really wanted to share today. Didn't want to take up too much time from my family, time from your family, but I just wanted to encourage you about what this day is. I hear kids screaming, what this day is really about, right? This day is really about celebrating the fact that Christ is not dead. They did kill him. He came back to life, and he is now sitting at the right hand of God in heaven. And so because of that, we can, we're super thankful for that. So if you guys have questions about that, you have concerns about that, right? You just wrestling with some part of that. Please put it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to have a rational adult conversation with you about those things. And maybe I can help, maybe I can't, but I'll at least give it a shot and try, right? I care about every single one of you guys that are watching this. We appreciate all that you guys have done for us and do for watching our content and taking part in our family and everything going on, especially with like Nora and stuff in the recent time frame. So we truly appreciate it. You guys just mean a lot, and we're super thankful for you. And we didn't want to let this day go on without sharing our thoughts and beliefs about that. And hopefully he will find, Jesus will find you and encourage you and help you see that. So please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Message us if you're watching on Facebook, please. Yeah, comment on that as well. And we'd be happy to talk with you guys and everything else. So anywho, that is really it. I am going to go trim some bushes. We got to go trim some greasewood bushes and some olive trees and prep our bees for next week and go hang out in the backyard with with the kids and the dogs and stuff. So we appreciate it. We should be getting back to a semi-normal routine next week on this channel here and talking about emergency preparedness and that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about a physical tool as opposed to a spiritual mental tool we talked about today. But yeah, so we appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, anything at all related to anything on the channel or we talked about today, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to talk to you guys. So thank you guys. We truly appreciate it. And we will catch you guys next time.